Hey, y'all. Welcome to season 3 of the Champagne Wives podcast. I'm your host, Kelly.
And I am your co-host, Nicole. Hey, Kel.
Hi, boo. Before we jump into it,
Okay.
Go ahead and open the bottle of champagne. But I just want to give a huge shout out to my bro, Pel. I know you guys have noticed, but we have intro music. And so I don't know if you guys remember or not, but last season, like mid-season through, we had to cut our intro music from using champagne. Not champagne. Nicki Minaj's High School, the instrumental for copyright reasons, the banger. And so as Nicole and I were brainstorming about like intros and kind of what direction we wanted to go into, I realized that I had a producer / rapper in the family.
Lucky you.
I know. And so reached out to him. He's from New Orleans and he is a wonderful artist, very unique. And he put together this sound for us. So we're extremely grateful. So we would like to shout out Pel, Jared. Love you, bro. Appreciate it.
Yes. Love when we can combine the things that have to do with us, like New Orleans, your family, my love of music. It was a great process.
It was such a great process. And it's just like, I'm like, I don't know. I was like, Nicole, I wish I knew like a producer or somebody who could make a sound for us, because we were listening to sounds and nothing really sounded like up to par with what we were looking for. Right. And just kind of like through a jogging of like my database, I'm just like, I do have somebody. And he was able to pull it off for us. So again, thank you, bro. We appreciate it so much. And we hope you guys love it just as much as we do.
Yes. And please, Kel, if they want to follow him, like we'll make sure we get his handle and stuff like that.
Oh, yeah. We'll put everything on our Instagram page. I don't have it like memorized. I think it's at Pel, but I just want to make sure that like I have the right information. So we'll definitely tag him. Yeah, on our episode drop on Thursday. There you go. Thank you, boo.
You're welcome. Okay. So
cheers.
I know we got to cheers. I know.
Okay.
I'm coming.
Gold glass.
Like, I feel like a cardinal sin to not have a balance in pour. Cheers.
Cheers, babe. Season 3. So here we are. Season 3. And we are so excited to be back in the studio. Like I mentioned previously, we switched studios in the middle of season 2. So we're back here at the Exception Podcast Studio. And
podcast studio.
Of course. And you know, are excited about season 3 and all of the conversations and topics that we have and the guests that we have planned for this season.
A new dynamic. And you all didn't really get a break from us. Season 2, between seasons 1 and season 2, we kind of took some time off. We like did a whole
But did we though?
Summer vacation. I feel like
we didn't take time off, girl. We were busy.
But between 2 and 3, I mean, we introduced Pop Off. We started doing the lives.
How y'all like Pop Off?
Yeah, I mean, I like
Pop Off. Look, Pop Off is just really an opportunity for us to just talk shit. Yeah. Like that's all we do in Pop Off. Like, don't take us seriously.
Right.
Like literally, we just sit down and give everyone just the insight into like girlfriend conversation.
Right.
Like this is what we talk about just amongst ourselves. Like no one was listening.
Right. Which is really, when you think about it, what this whole entire podcast was really based off of, right? Just a conversation between girlfriends. And I will tell you where we are, school starts this week for our kids. And I did meet the teacher last night. And there were so many moms who were like, love what you're doing with the podcast.
Really?
I feel like it's just like me listening to my girlfriends.
You did not tell me that yesterday. You always do that.
I do. I like
to be surprised on camera. Why I got to be surprised on camera? Girl, that's so cool.
Yeah, so I just feel like what we're trying to do, the conversations we're trying to have, resonate with a lot of folks. And
that has always been the goal.
Right, that has been the goal. And that's what we'll continue to do. So super excited to kick off season 3. We were in the lab. We've been episode planning. And I feel like today's topic.
Let's get to the nitty gritty.
Yeah, let's get to it.
Let's get to the nitty gritty.
So there's a lot of conversation right now happening across the socials about the concept of a high value woman. And my question is, what the fuck's a high value woman? Like, what is it?
That's a good question, because I feel like people always throw these terms around, but nobody ever like digs deep into like what that shit actually means. And a lot of the times it doesn't mean what you think it means.
Right. And when we say a lot of people, it's men primarily creating these definitions. But now we start to see that women are also weighing in on the definition of what a high value woman is. Yeah. So
who should we believe, men or women?
I don't know. Yeah, I don't know. Because I think at the end of the day,
who has it? Who has it down pat? Like who?
I don't know. I think at the end of the day, like your perception is your reality. So a female's perspective on what and perception of what a high value woman is and what she identifies and understands that to be is what she believes that to be is her reality. And I think the same goes for men. But I feel like
before you move on though, but if she feels like she's a high value woman, but men don't feel that same way, but is she dating herself?
Well, you must.
So
step
I'm
one.
asking about just the level of weight, thinking oneself is high value and someone else thinking you're high value. Do you know what I mean? Like, what is it 50-50? Is it like 60-40? Like, what would be the percentage of like someone believing you are high value and then you believing yourself is high value? And I think it deals with two different things, like knowing yourself and your self-esteem and your self-worth. But at the end of the day, again, like, are you trying to date yourself or marry yourself? So how do you convey, I guess, the value that you hold for yourself to someone else?
Well, in a sense, I feel like that's a form of seeking validation, which is definitely not what a high value woman does in my book, based on my definition. Seeking validation from other people is not on the short list of things that a high value woman does. They, in my mind, understand their worth because, yes, they've dated themselves. They know the value that they bring. They know the perspective and the contributions that they're able to bring to a relational dynamic, a friendship, whatever the case may be. So I don't think so. I don't think it really, the 50-50 split at the end of the day, it has to be, there's no 50-50 split. It has to be weighted more towards yourself.
So so if it's not transferred or conveyed to the person that you're dating, does that just mean that's not the person for you?
Well, the person who you choose to date, right, has to see the value that you bring.
Absolutely.
They have to see it and they have to appreciate it.
Yes.
And
two parts.
I think the absence of either one is a recipe for disaster.
And I also add to that too, again, I think that's why knowing your worth is so important as a woman in general, not even just a high value woman, because there will be some people who will not value your worth or who will value your worth secretly and at the same time try to bring you down. And so those are the worst kind of situations because
those are the narcissists.
Oh, yeah. Those are the toxic partners. So be aware of those.
Buyer beware there.
Yeah, be aware of those, right? Because that's the worst situation I feel like a woman who has high value can get herself into. And I think a lot of the times it is easy to get in these situations with these men. And so what I did, in preparation for this topic is went to look up what a high value man is or what it is considered to be and what those parameters are, right?
Right.
And so one of the interesting things that I found out is that the parameters that make a man high value are starkly different from what makes a woman considered to be high value. Right. And so I am going to go into those.
Okay.
So high value man, a man who sets themselves apart from other men by one, obviously money. Money is like the number one.
Okay.
So it's like 3 to 5 years of earning six figures or more. And so high value men is not necessarily tied to a profession like an athlete or entertainer. Like it's about men who have worked hard and who have created, right, high stream of income for themselves.
Sorry.
Okay. Go ahead. You want to stop there? Okay.
That's an important one.
Pause.
Okay. So 6 figures. So that's a 1 plus 5 zeros, right? Okay. So let's just say I mean, if you're making $99,999,
shut up.
you're not a high value man. No, I mean, you are. If we're talking about what's inside, right? But the reality is that making $100,000 a year right now, I'm just going to say it. I know people are going to hate me for this and I might get canceled, but making $100,000 a year as a man.
Say it, sis. Just let it rip.
In today's world with inflation where it is, it's not giving.
Oh,
it's not giving. It's what are we going to do with the $100,000? What are you going to do with the $100,000? There's no we in that salary. And I'm not trying to sound classist. I'm not trying to sound negative in any way, but $100,000.
Okay, so let's not say $100,000. Let's maybe talk upper six figures. Like, because obviously now in this day and age in 2020, what is this, 2? Things are expensive.
Oh, yeah.
Like,
that's
groceries are high.
Gas, groceries.
But we think about like when, you remember like back in the day when everybody used to talk about 6-figure, I need a 6-figure nigga with, you know what I mean? So it's just like,
yes.
So back in the day, like that was the bar. I know now $100,000 goes as far as like that table.
Economy,
yes, exactly. But, from the perspective of the research that I've done, it's consistently, not just like hit a lick of making like 6 figures one year, but it's consistently either being in that group of people that bring home 6 figures,
compounding,
or yes, of course, or it growing over, a span of time.
Yeah.
But I get what you're saying.
Okay. Number 2.
So number 2 is recognition from other high value men. So do your peers recognize you as a high value man, right? Okay. So the third one is validation. Correct. Well connected. So being well connected and having a network of men in the same position as friends or acquaintances. So I can see that. I would agree that because I don't like it when a person who may consider themselves high value, but your crew look like bums. Like they're leeches. They're, I don't know, deadbeats. They're lame. They're whack. Like I just don't think it legitimizes.
Well, it goes back to what we talked about probably in season 2, just around like 20-something shenanigans, I think was the episode when we were talking about the importance, like things that we wish we knew in our 20s. And having the right group of friends around you when you're young is honestly what helps ensure your success as you get older.
Do you want to be the smartest person in your group? At the end of the day. I mean, that's the saying, but it's so true, especially as it pertains to a high value man in accordance to like the parameters that I found online. And then lastly is just having a level of influence. So what does your span of influence look like? Obviously, a high value man, everybody wants access. For a variety of reasons, right? Maybe just want to be in their space, want to learn from him, want a job. I don't know, whatever it is, but just having a span of influence in his circle or in the larger population or group of people.
So those are some of the traits.
So those are some of the parameters that were kind of laid out for what makes a man high value.
Okay.
So again, there was such a stark difference between like the definitions for a man of high value and a woman of high 1000%. Value. So I don't know, like, I know you may comment about the $100,000 one or the six figure rule, but like, anything else that maybe that you can think of that you would consider a man to be like of high value
would need to have to be considered high value.
Exactly.
So I'm aligned to a lot of them. The whole external validation thing. I mean, okay, yeah, I get it. In society, if you're a man, I guess that's important. I don't know if it's as important really for women, but
what is it? What was it?
The external validation, like being viewed as being viewed as a high value man within your circle. I think I don't know if that was number 3.
Okay.
I'm a woman, so for me, it's about making sure that there is just the provider piece, the emotional provider, knowing that like there's emotional like security and stability, and that, like you are creating a safe space, not just within the physical world of our home, but also emotionally, right?
Yeah.
And then I think I would say one more thing is a man who understands the importance of having a woman in his life who is here to help him grow, evolve, and build, and who recognizes that a woman brings skills and resources to a relationship that help a man. I'm not saying make a man, but help a man.
Definitely, like a help. Yeah.
The saying is, what behind every strong man is a strong woman. And I think that definitely holds true when you're talking about high value men. Yeah. And they understand that, and they allow their female companion, wife, partner to play that role.
Yeah. But I think you're thinking internally. And I think when you think of like, when people have these conversations about like high value, is the man that everybody wants. All that emotional stuff, sight unseen. Yeah, that's right. That's like the cherry on the top. Like that's the icing on the cake. But this is just kind of like external factors that make a person seem valuable, to outsiders.
Yeah. Yeah. I have more opinions on what a high value man is.
Okay, but this is not what this
show is about. Today's topic is about. Well, we can make that a whole nother episode. Yeah. But the good Kevin Samuels, may God rest his soul and may he rest in peace, liked to say that there were a couple of things that a woman needed to have to be viewed as high value. Mm-hmm. He said that a degree and a good job does not make you valuable in the eyes of a man. What makes you valuable in the eyes of a man? I'm going to run this list off. Jesus. To be a high value woman, you need to be fit, feminine, friendly, cooperative, submissive, childless, coachable or trainable, and get with the program.
Bitch, like get with the program is absolutely
get with the program.
No, we're not doing that.
Get with the program.
But
what does that mean?
Run that list back again.
Okay.
And I'm gonna stop you when I have thoughts.
But what if your program's flawed? Just a question. Okay, so fit, feminine.
I believe femininity. We talked about divine femininity, so I agree with that.
Friendly.
I agree with that. So I was listening to a podcast, and this was going around the social media, worldwide website, whatever, web. And it was, I think he was an athlete or somebody, and he was talking about for him, there has been a plethora of beautiful women. He says, but at a certain point, he's not drawn to just beauty. He's drawn to how other women react and respond to you when she walks in the room. Her energy. Is she kind? Mm-hmm. Is she nice? Does she have good energy? Does she bring a good aura with her when she walks into certain spaces? I agree with that.
1,000%.
I agree, because you could be beautiful and ugly as fuck. Who wants to be bothered?
That sounds like a terrible.
You could be a beautiful airhead.
You can, or you could be a beautiful, just mean-spirited person. Yeah. And I think the importance of being able to create followership and to inspire others as a woman is so important. And so, I saw that and was like, yep.
I think that's spot on.
Energy is big.
Okay. So next.
Cooperative. Submissive.
I mean, you have to say what submissive is, child, because definitely. So submissive comes with a whole lot of different things, and submission to you is different from submission.
It varies
to me.
From person to person.
Yeah, it varies.
But what I will say about submission is that if a man creates an environment where a woman can lean into her divine feminine into her feminine space and energy, I think submission comes easy.
But I think that's also that is different for everybody. Yeah. It is. Like some people, it could be how much a man makes and how he takes care of the home financially. In other situations, it could be how a woman is being taken care of emotionally, because she could, depending on that, she could always be in fight or flight mode. And I read that puts you in your masculine energy as well, because you always feel like you have to protect yourself emotionally. And I think the same goes for financially. If you have to wear, the hat of being a provider, I mean, that would harden you as well as a woman.
Absolutely. Yeah. Absolutely. Childless.
Bye.
Miss me with that.
Because me and my children.
Because to be a high value man, then you need to not have any children, no baby mamas. And if we go make sure that all things being equal, a apply here. Childless would have to apply on both sides. So, I mean, that's debatable. But I will say this, you know me, I'm able to wear the other shoe. But I will say this, I believe the part about being childless really comes into play when we're talking about the importance of a man being able to build legacy. And so in a lot of cases when women have their kids, let's just say they have a boy and a girl, and they feel like they've done what they need to do to, you know, fulfill their life's purpose, and what they were put on this earth to do, they might say, I'm done. And so if I don't want to have kids, any more kids, and you want to have kids, I might not be of value to you, especially if you're looking to build that legacy.
To each his own.
To each their own, right? Yeah. Coachable or trainable? Trainable.
Well, trainable, no.
Am I a dog?
Not a dog, roof. But coachable, yes. I think that in a part of like the definition of high value women that I saw when I did my research, and one of it is just never stop growing and learning. Yeah. And so I think you can couple all of that together, because I think in a relationship or as an individual, like you don't even necessarily have to be in a relationship, like you have to be open to the process. Yeah. Like it's a continual growth. Like to me, if you stop growing, if you think you know everything, you die. Like it's always something to learn, always something to know, always some knowledge to gain. So in a sense, I agree with that based off of like what I saw or read online about being a high value woman.
Coachable, yes. Trainable, I mean, maybe it's word choice.
It's wording. It's definitely wording.
And then get with the program.
Girl, absolutely not. Just take that one off the list, y'all.
Yeah. Strike that one.
Just strike that one off the list. Please. It's a hard no for me. A hard no.
So it's a list that, from a man's perspective, it's a list that I think we can agree with some parts, disagree with others. Yeah. But what I think is really interesting is that when you listen to women, because like I said, they're chiming in on the socials as well about what we, because we are in that category, what we identify as being the traits or qualities of a high value woman. And it's an interesting perspective because women, and although we all have our own opinions, just like men have their own opinions, women have characteristics that don't necessarily tie to them being submissive or to them being docile. It is very much more about them establishing boundaries. It's very much about them standing up for themselves. Yes. It's about them protecting their energy. It's about them having a level of discernment around who they're going to surround themselves with. And it's the decision making that they choose to engage in that really makes them a high value woman.
From a woman's perspective. Exactly. Yeah. And so that's what I had on my list. So someone who knows her worth. Again, we talked about that, right? Someone who's able to speak her mind. Yep. Again, I think a lot of men, particularly high value men, don't necessarily want a woman who speaks her mind and who is able to articulate her feelings and her emotions, right? Someone who has class, being sexy, but also, having boundaries, right? There's nothing wrong with that. How do you show up in the world? Yep. How do you carry yourself? How do you take care of yourself? Then again, the level of kindness, right? How does she treat people? How do people feel when they're around her? And then takes care of herself emotionally, spiritually, physically, financially. Dates herself. Because dates herself, but also takes care of herself, and we have this, we had this on Pop Off, like, men talking about, I want my woman to pay the bills and this and that. But at the end of the day, that's fine. That's great and dandy. But, we have these careers, we have these businesses, we have these things going on for ourselves. And I think that, it's not just about being successful or having a great career and making money. It's about, again, how do you tap into that feminine energy and how do you present yourself, with class, with dignity, and I think it's just kind of a delicate dance based on a lot of different factors, right? You know, who you're with, whatever the dynamic of the relationship, X, Y, and Z. Like we could go on and on and on. But I still think the parameters for what makes a man high value and what makes a woman high value is so different. Like so different, so like different. Starkly different.
And from my perspective, I feel like men view a woman that is of high value if she's willing to submit to an extent, if she's willing to chase to an extent. Women, we're saying no. We're saying no to that.
No,
like it's not about the chase. It's not. It's about what we attract. It's about loving ourselves and knowing that when that happens, the best version of ourselves shows up. And that's what you are attracted to.
Absolutely.
Right. And so I don't know. Society's fucked, right? Oh. If we're running off of these definitions.
Society is so fucked.
You know, the male podcaster, you know, the podcasters are getting around a mic and deciding that like these are the traits.
Yeah.
I feel like at the end of the day, there's the bucket that works for you is the bucket that works for you.
I still think we live in a very patriarchal society.
Yeah.
Like,
very much so.
You know what I mean? And I think as much as men have come along and as much as they would like to say that they, you know, support feminism and, you know, they're feminists, do you know?
They're not.
You're not. They don't.
No.
I honestly don't think so. As much as they try, like you could just feel.
Oh, they're not. They're not. I mean, listen, what made I was quoting Kevin Samuels at the start of this. Having a degree and having a high-paying job does not make you of value to a man.
No.
And there was this one video clip from a podcast that was going around where this guy said that there was a woman that he was talking to who said, you know, I make money, I have my degree, I have all this. Now all I need is a man. And that thing went viral and and he said, no, you don't need me and I don't want you.
Oh,
right.
Oh.
Because
Jesus.
Why? Because she doesn't need you? Because she has amassed things for herself and maybe what she needs is partnership. Maybe what she needs is a place to feel like she can indulge in the soft life. Yeah. So does that not make her a high value woman because she does not need you? It sounds like that's ego running rampant. And if that is how men are approaching relationships, then, you know, God bless the woman and like,
God bless the man.
Protect
yourself,
child.
Let's go. Like God bless the man.
The man needs to be blessed,
right? Like, yeah, I agree with you 1,000%. And you know, I'm of the generation where my mom, you know, strictly enforced education. On my sister and I. It was not an option, and
But
and that's just what, and I will do the same for my child, for my daughter. Like my daughter will be educated.
The men that get it. The men that
don't.
And that sounds like a personal problem.
And that song, Mary Had a Little Lamb. And now we are going to go ahead and switch gears and bring in Good Journey to start What's Poppin'. All right. What's up, Good Journey?
Hi, friends.
Cheers.
Ting, ting, ting.
What you got for What's Poppin'? I'm waiting for this.
Okay, so wait, before I get into What's Poppin', I will say during our hiatus, I was perusing our comments on Instagram, and one of the comments that struck me was that Champagne Wives is for beautiful women that make money, like rich, pretty girls. And I said, it was one of the comments. I can't remember exactly
we missed this?
On y'all's page.
Cheers to that.
Cheers. I love when people speak fast.
I am 100% sure. One of the comments is like, Champagne Wives is for pretty, rich girls. And I said, yeah, it is. That's our demographic.
It is, though. It definitely is.
That's the brand.
That is. Luxury at its finest. Beautiful, black, and paid.
We love to see it. Okay, so because we've been off for a while, What's Poppin', I'm going to have to like make it in a folder. And the folder for today is Showgirls. So we're going to start, it's all women, Showgirls.
Okay.
So the first thing is that congratulations to Beyonce. Our sis has created the album of the year, in my opinion. Okay, church girl, yes. And Rolling Stone has named Beyonce the world's greatest living entertainer. And I tend to agree.
I agree.
Like
1,000%.
Can you think of anybody, woman, man, child, that is a better entertainer than Beyonce?
No, I can't. She is so, she's a great performer.
The GOAT.
She is.
Yeah.
I
Living,
agree.
yes.
I agree with the GOAT. I agree with you. But did you see the pastor who was trying to come at Beyonce
Everybody's
talking
trying to
about
come at Beyonce for some clout.
But that's not right, though.
It's
like,
not right. Like, who are you to say somebody's going to hell? Somebody sold their soul. Like, you are
somebody's a devil worshiper. Like,
get out of
he
here.
was out of line.
Yeah,
like,
completely out of line.
These
There's a
damn
lot of
pastors be
content out
losing
there.
their fucking minds.
So,
Girl.
if I may.
Here we go.
You already know. So, agree. Beyonce, greatest performer, living performer,
Yes.
right? I mean, MJ's still the best, but like Beyonce, the greatest living
I
performer.
beg to differ.
Okay. We can agree to disagree on that one.
I'm going
I
to
know,
tell you
agree
why I
with you.
disagree, though. I'll tell you why I disagree.
Go ahead.
It's just like the LeBron and MJ conversation or debate. Like, yes, MJ was a great entertainer on stage, but that's all he was. Like, his legacy is shit. You know, he has the whole molestation case.
Allegedly.
Allegedly. Not saying he did it, not saying he didn't, but allegedly. I mean, he completely flipped his whole face. He hated himself internally as a Black person. I mean, I could just continue to go on and on. He did not embrace his Blackness at all whatsoever. When he got to a certain stage in his life, I feel like he switched gears and jumped over to the other side.
But not.
Whereas Beyonce has been true to her Southern Houston Black roots from day one. And so I think that you get points for that. Like, I think that, you know, like staying true to who you are, staying close to the culture, understanding who the people are who got you where you are at is super important. And she's a mega global superstar. So, you know, she has fans of all different. I'm saying, but she has fans of all different races, of all different backgrounds.
So does Michael Jackson.
I know, but what I'm saying is she's still staying true to who she is as a Black woman from Houston, Texas, down south. And that's what I appreciate about that.
I don't think it's fair to do that to Michael Jackson, because Michael Jackson grew up in an era that was different. He also had vitiligo, which had to do with the color change in his body.
It had something to do with like his nose too.
Well, yeah, I think that his
Beyonce
trauma
got her
is
nose done
different.
too.
Facts.
People out here getting their nose done every day.
I don't know.
It's trauma that drove a lot of what Michael Jackson went through. So I don't know if we can compare. When you put both of them on a stage and tell them to do the work that they know how to do, who's gonna win? Probably Michael Jackson. Ooh, I just kissed this thing. Wow. Probably Michael Jackson. That man.
I'm gonna have to agree to disagree.
Okay, fair enough.
I think Michael Jackson's gonna win as well. I agree with that. I think globally he is a bigger star than Beyonce. I'm with you on staying true to who you are.
Sure.
I get that, and I appreciate all that Beyonce is doing and embracing her Blackness. And that's really important. It is very important right now for us as women. It's important for us as Black people because we've had to pass to try and make our way through. So I think it's great that she's doing that. But I think when we talk about global superstardom,
It's still, by the time Beyonce is still here, she's still alive. By the time Michael was Beyonce's age, he was on a decline. Like,
he also started at 5 years old.
In my opinion, there's no comparison.
the body of work.
Right. I mean, his body of work started from when he could basically talk.
Well, that's true. But if she doesn't, take sleeping medicine and pass away, then she'll probably pass that as
Michael
well.
Jackson
So I'm
that I
just
can't
saying,
sit
like,
with,
it's going
honestly.
to all, what you're saying is all going to equal out.
But at the end of the day, what are we arguing for? Because this is talking about the world's living entertainer. Michael Jackson been dead for years. Like, what are we talking about? We're not comparing the apples. It's apples and oranges that we're comparing.
I agree to disagree. You said the question out there, who do you feel is the best performer? And I said
living performer.
But where did y'all said MJ? I said, how did Michael Jackson come into the conversation? Because I didn't bring him up.
Run the tape back.
Run the tape back because I didn't bring up Michael Jackson. I for damn sure didn't bring up Michael Jackson.
This ain't even what they talking about.
I know.
But I mean, all the cases that you made, all the points you made were very, very, very valid. But
MJ's still the best.
Yeah.
In your humble opinion.
And that of billions.
In your humble opinion.
Angela Yee has announced that she's departing from the Breakfast Club. And I think the whole world gives a resounding,
who gives a fuck?
That part. Because here's the thing. The Breakfast Club in and of itself has moved and shaped hip hop culture. Angela Yee, although part of the Breakfast Club, has not shaped or moved hip hop culture. Like in all the things that you remember about the Breakfast Club, none of them is like, oh, I remember when Angela Yee said this and it was funny.
I'm glad I'm not the only one who feels that way because I felt that way. I actually feel like the opposite. Like, why the fuck is she here? Like, what is she saying? Like, there have been certain interviews where I was just like, she's not making any sense. And she went to school for this, right? Like, this is her career. This is what she's a trained profession. Like, this is her trained profession. Yeah. And I just feel like a lot of times she just missed the mark on these interview questions. I felt like she was unprepared. I don't think that she brought an anchor to other than being like a woman to the show.
And she has her own like podcast now. I forget what it's called. I've never seen it before. I only see clips. And in those clips, it's never her that's like pushing something. It's always somebody else with the clips and the interesting thing to say. No disrespect to Angela Yee, although this was incredibly disrespectful from start to finish. I just, congratulations to you on your new endeavors, I guess, but this just wasn't really.
I mean, it just is what it is.
But it's full disrespect.
No, I don't think I think it's an opinion. And I just think that, I mean, just like assholes, we have them. Everyone has them.
Giving
and
Wendy
we have
Williams.
them. But I just, no, I don't think it's giving Wendy Williams. I just think, you think what's giving Wendy Williams?
This conversation.
Oh, this conversation is giving Wendy?
It's giving big shade Wendy Williams.
Correct. It's giving, I'm just reporting the news. Angela Yee wasn't shit, but.
Oh, no, I didn't say that.
If I may.
By no means were we saying that she's not shit. But what I'm saying is she's departing, and it's just like, I was like, oh.
Yeah, because like, her first thing was like, oh, Breakfast Club is going to be different than you ever remember. Like, it's never going to be the same again. And then she dropped the news, and where everybody was like, I think it'll be all right. Like, I don't.
So,
I agree.
If I may, Angela Yee, you are an alumni of the Wesleyan University, which I hail from as well.
It's a lot, child.
Okay.
Just joking.
Watch your mouth. And I get it. I feel like maybe you were on the show a little too long. I think what the intention was initially for the Breakfast Club and what it evolved to and the role that she played was not aligned to what she was looking to do. I think she probably could have jumped ship about 6, 7, maybe 9 years ago. I think 14, 15 years she was on the show.
Yeah.
I don't think that she served the show beyond that time frame. The show moved from we're going to talk about current events, we're going to be edgy, to we're going to be salacious. It's going to feel a little more tabloidy. We're going to be a place where, Charlemagne asks some of those crazy and provocative questions, right? But that wasn't her lane. It really wasn't her lane. And every time she tried to ask a question to like fit in, it fell flat. Like it sounded like it didn't fit. And so it was time. It was time. So for her to make this announcement, I agree. Like, I'm not losing any sleep over it. But
are you going to go listen to her new show?
Probably not. I'm gonna I'm gonna catch up on these episodes. Champagne wise.
You know what I mean? Like,
you know what I mean?
I'm just not. So
no, but
not to bash her. Like, she's a Black woman. She was amongst men, a male dominated, environment. Like, she held her own. She tried.
And that's a hard world in the New York radio hip hop scene.
Not held her own in like the content, but she showed up every day. Like, even through the stats, like Charlemagne got into it with Charlemagne and once, like at one point in time. Yeah. Like, she still held her own. She was there. She was a figure on the show. So much respect to her for that.
I think the bar is just very high. Charlemagne the God and DJ Envy are huge.
I don't even think DJ Envy has.
That dynamic with Charlemagne.
Yeah, the two of them can go back head to head. They have huge personalities, and she got kind of swallowed up.
Mm-hmm. Well, and like, it's hard to go back and forth when you have that strong of a dynamic. What was the role that she was going to play? What was, I don't want to use this word, but like, how was she going to enhance? I'm going to choose that word instead of the other word I was thinking about. But how was she going to enhance that dynamic? And I think that stopped happening when the show went to you would light skin this, like you would gay this, you would, you know what I mean? Like, and so like, she's sitting here like, okay, how do I tap in? How do I tag it on that?
Right.
So
she tried.
But, I wish her well, and I think we all do
for sure.
in her future endeavors.
Congratulations on your new stuff that you're doing. Last story I have is of Doja Cat. She's like the new up-and-coming rapper, singer, Nicki Minaj person.
She is?
Well,
Why?
because she's charted quite a bit. We'll give her that. She has recently shaved her head and her eyebrows, and I'm upset. Not because she did that. Do what you want. That's up to you. But her response to people that have something to say about it irks my soul. So essentially, people are like, "Are you okay? Do you need therapy? Like, have you gone nuts?" Most people that have shaved their head and eyebrows, it's typically some kind of a cry for help. And she like jumped down people's throats. I'm not here for your enjoyment. I can do what I want to do. I've charted, blah, 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 whatever, whatever.
I'm rich. I'm
correct. I'm this, I'm
that,
I'm the third. Here's the thing, Doja Cat, looking dead at you in one of these many cameras that we have. There are many singers, songwriters, rappers, unsigned. There are so much talent in this world. It's not that you're uber special. It's that you got lucky, right? Like out of all the people in all the land and all the world that have won the lottery and got a record deal and like done something with themselves, it's not because you're the most talented. It's you hit a lick and great, and you can be replaced. So when we look to our entertainers, we're not just looking for like a person that can sing well, because we can go down to Mastro's and hear the dude that's on the piano singing well.
He's fucking good.
Isn't he?
He's great, yeah.
He's good. We're looking to you for fashions. We're looking to you for, you know, your civic knowledge. We're looking to you for your beauty, in addition to how you sing, rap, dance, and all of those things. Like I'm unimpressed with her response to doing something that is, quite frankly, out of the ordinary and deserves the kind of response that she got.
So when her best friend Saweetie shaved her hair, how did we feel about that?
Who?
Saweetie,
But she didn't shave her eyebrows.
Maybe not the eyebrows, but when Saweetie did the same thing, and her and Doja are best friends. They grew up together.
Did they?
Oh, that's news to me.
I feel like people put too much weight on celebrities and celebrity culture. I mean, it's just
Too much weight.
too much weight. Doja Cat, should she have been famous in the first place? She was on that chat room. Like, she's weird as fuck. And that was known from like day one when she was on the chat room acting like
Oh yeah,
a racist, giving like, what's his name?
How do you even know this shit?
Because
I
they
remember.
went in there like chats, and it's just like it's giving Dave Chappelle, and he was like the black KKK man, like the black Klansman.
Oh,
like,
he didn't know he was
he was like black Klansman. Like, it's giving that. Like, she was in these chat rooms saying like all this salacious and racist shit for clout, and I just think that.
Which is crazy
I think
because she's South
just
African.
gives really lame ass people a platform, and I still think at the end of the day, these folks are lame as fuck. And I just think that I expect nothing less of that.
So let me ask you a question.
That's fair.
Who do you think the lamest celebrity is out right now?
Safari. Full stop.
Bitch, I don't even think we got the full question.
No,
yet.
and I said what I said because Safari.
He's
so lame. I can't.
It's so many. It's just so many.
Why is he so lame?
Because he's very thirsty. Like, he dropped this, allegedly, he dropped this sex tape. And he's not mad that the sex tape dropped. He's mad because everybody's commenting on how small his penis is in the sex tape.
But I thought that like he's had other like
has anybody seen that video? Because I've been looking for it, child. I can't.
not looking.
I've been trying. I have not been able to see it.
He's just a corny dude. I know. I haven't
sworn
seen
that
it.
like he's had like penis pics, dick pics.
He has.
dropped.
He's leaked them. And he's on OnlyFans.
Yeah, and I thought that there was a like people were like, "Damn, Safari."
Yes, and then the video comes out and it's like, "Oh, so we've been catfished."
But then he said that like y'all gonna talk about me, but I was soft at that moment.
Sir, sit down. Shut up.
He was like, I didn't even have a full erection.
He really thought he was doing
Why
something.
are you responding, sir?
He's just so
let
corny.
the trolls troll and let this story move on. Like, why are you responding with an explanation as to why your manhood is not looking as big as it did in previous
very,
posts?
very corny, this man.
That is
And
hilarious.
as he's a Jamaican, right? And y'all know where my family hails from. I got a soft spot in my heart for Safari because
I get it.
just because he hails from the island that my family hails from. But I would agree on the corny factor. Who's
Girl, there's so don't ask me, child.
No,
There's too many.
We got a running list. Ray J's another one.
Everybody.
who pops up?
Girl, everybody. Like I literally in my mind right now,
Everybody.
there's just like a rolling fucking list of people, like
That are
even
lame.
your favorites. Like I just think that again, celebrity culture has just been really publicized in the United States and made this huge thing to put these lame ass people on a pedestal. I think that most of the celebrities were lame as fuck growing up.
And I think that's
but that's where the art and the talent comes from.
Well, exactly. So it's just like I really don't care. And you know this because every week on What's Poppin',
I know.
you guys are like Kelly does not care. Kelly does not care.
Tell the story anyway,
right?
But I will say
exactly. Kelly does not care.
I think that's the beauty of Beyonce because Beyonce has created something of like a mystery around her. You don't know what's going on in her personal life ever. True. And it's smart because if we knew, we'd probably be like, Beyonce, I mean, she's all right. Because that kind of convolutes and makes the art a little bit different when you know too much about
a person.
Yeah. So I think that's why Beyonce is like up here and everybody else is down here because
and let's also put Rihanna up there. Sorry, we have to.
Yeah,
because she's not as lame.
So,
I don't think she's lame.
To answer my question,
that should have been a better question for me. Who do you think is not lame? That's the question for me.
Okay, so we'll come back to that. So who do I think is lame? I'm not gonna lie. I feel like The Weeknd is pretty fucking lame. I think there's a whole alter ego that's singing these songs, and I think he is a very chill, like, nerd.
Did you know he was like addicted to like meth, like hard drugs? The
Doesn't
Weeknd
surprise me.
So I think he has a story to tell, but he's not going to tell a story until he's done.
See what I'm talking about?
I think the story will be told.
A whole method.
Yeah, when
Bitch, let's get this episode because first of all,
wait a minute,
wait too long.
Okay, so who is not lame for you?
Not lame? Obviously, Beyonce.
Obviously,
I agree with you. Rihanna is not lame. Jay-Z, I don't think Jay-Z is lame.
His
Meg Thee Stallion. I love Meg.
You're on him. You're deep in Meg right now.
I am deep in Meg.
I listened to her album, No Disrespect, Love the Hotties, all that. It wasn't one that I wanted to go back to. I listened to it from top to bottom, and it wasn't one that I was like, let me listen to that again. I gave you a stream, sis.
I know. So. I will listen. It's going to be on repeat.
Okay. I'm going to have to catch up.
Yeah, catch up on that one.
Anything else for What's Poppin'?
I mean, it's more, but Sandman, I can feel her eyes burning through my soul, so I'll just leave it to
if there's one more.
I don't think she has one more. She said that was it. That was it.
I have one more. Shakira. We all love Shakira.
I don't even know nothing about that. Okay. I have no idea.
Okay.
I don't know. I have no idea about that.
Shakira, Hips Don't Lie. Shakira.
But what is
very famous.
That was the last song that I've heard from Shakira and the last song that I know and the one and only song that I know from Shakira. So what could we possibly talk about?
Well, Shakira is facing an 8-year sentence in Spain for $1.4 million in tax fraud. So she's moved to Miami to try and beat the charge. Not beat the charge, but
avoid being
escape
extradited.
The charge. Yeah. So sis is a wanted person. And also her husband, who was a soccer star, cheated on her with some 20-year-old like worker at a hotel. So she's going through it at this point. Shouts out to Shakira.
I hope she's able to outrun this, Joe.
Well, she's rich, so she could just like go on the lam and just not go back to Spain. And that could be enough, but I don't know if she got ties in Spain or what.
She'll be fine. I think she'll be fine. I think they'll figure it out. The
$1.4 million is stressful because Lauryn Hill went to jail for less than that. So did Wesley Snipes. But that's American. Yeah.
That's America.
Yeah.
I know a good story that she was talking about Brittney Griner.
I was.
Why the hell? Do you agree with him holding her?
Wait. Okay, so are they?
Yes, I do agree. Honestly.
Me too.
I agree.
Me too.
Are you talking about in general or the fact that like did she get it? I'm sorry. I've not watched the news in a couple of days.
Do you guys remember the news story? It was years ago. We must have been in elementary school at the time. There was a man that went to Singapore and spit out his gum on the floor. Yep. And he got, like, they beat the crap out of this young man.
I remember this.
And the punishment in our minds does not fit the crime. However, you can't take your same American mentality to
these people's country.
You can't.
Especially not Russia.
Girl. They're in a whole war with, like, Europe. Like,
over
what are you
nothing.
Doing?
Like,
correct.
Like, no, I just think, I don't know. Like,
so did a decision come down?
The thought. Yeah, she got 9 years.
So they did
So everybody in the, like, everybody is like, oh, we need to go in and get her. United States government needs to do something. I'm just like, what the fuck you want these people to do? She went in and broke the people's law.
So, I mean, just the same way that when you go to another country, you're like, okay, what are your COVID restrictions? You should, if you smoke weed like that, you should know what their weed restrictions are. Like, educate yourself. Do better.
Is 9 years excessive? Yes.
Well,
but
some cannabis cartridges.
For cannabis cartridges. Now, I can see if it was baggies, but or like
it was a whole,
like
brick.
But I still feel like you should know the country. if I go, I have no desire to go to motherfucking Russia. I'm gonna just put that shit out there. I'm not going to Russia.
I'm not doing it.
But I'm gonna be straight laced. When I went through Germany on my way to Nigeria and back, they were checking my braids, child.
They don't play around.
I'm not playing with the white people.
Cannabis braided.
It's the land of the free in America, not everywhere else. Like, be very clear.
Be very clear. And for them to be and I think that's privileged for them to be expecting the president and the vice president to be doing something for them. Why are you special? Because you're a female athlete? No. Like, you knew what you were doing. You broke the law. And I feel like now you have to pay the price and do your time for that. And I don't think that the Biden administration should be in negotiations to release dangerous criminals to free Brittney Griner for breaking the law in Russia. And that's just my 2 cents on that.
It sucks. It really does. 9 years is a long, long time.
Yeah.
But we have to just kind of compare it to the charge in Russia for a person that does the same thing in Russia.
Is that like an average charge, though, for
I don't know what they do in Russia.
Our producer says yes.
Okay.
See? So, if you went to the UAE with that kind of stuff, it's probably going to be 25, 30 years.
You would not be living. They would hang you in the public square.
Like, you have to
cut your tongue out. Take your teeth.
And slit your
Not everywhere is... Ain't shit sweet everywhere, sis. Like, unfortunately, that's what it is.
I mean, sorry to this woman.
Girl.
Yeah.
Y'all are ruthless.
I mean,
I'm just saying, like, I've been looking at this and I'm just like, it's so unfair and ignorant. I feel like for people to be like,
that's why everybody hates Americans.
Somebody needs to go and get her. Somebody needs to go and get her.
That's why people hate us.
Biden needs to do more. What the fuck?
So here's the thing. I think it's very clear that there's a whole political statement that we're trying to make, right? And we're trying to make it on the other side of Chester Cheeto, aka y'all's former president. So, the fact that we were in bed with the Russians at one point and now we're trying to get out of bed, but there's still seminal fluid evidencing that we were in bed with the Russians, makes it, I think, a little harder, or puts a little bit more pressure, better said, on the Biden administration to try and approach this from a peaceful and more diplomatic place. It's very political in my mind. It's not about like what's right, what's wrong, what are the laws, what aren't the laws. This is about establishing ourselves as a presence and a force in kind of the global space, and not cowering to Russia the way that and using diplomacy to not cower to Russia the way that maybe we have in the previous 4 years prior to Biden. But I do agree, what's right, what's law is law, and what's not law is not law. And I
don't believe it's cowering to Russia. Russia is a powerful country on its own.
I'm saying we did cower to Russia under Trump.
Oh yeah.
So I feel like this is an attempt to use diplomacy and to not cower to Russia.
But I don't think that trying to get her or leaving her in jail is cowering to Russia.
Remember,
Russia
it's not just her. It's not just her.
Right.
It's her and someone who clearly was unjustly jailed, more so than her. Who was clearly unjustly jailed.
So it's not about cowering, it's about negotiations. And so what are you going to give me? Who are you going to give me for these people?
But that's what I'm saying.
Right.
I'm saying not now. Prior, there was cowering. And we're trying to diplomatically negotiate and establish ourselves as a power to get these two people released. We were. I'm not saying we are. So to me, law is law. I agree. But at the end of the day, this is also an opportunity to show, if we can get these two people out, that we are a diplomatic power, unlike what we might have been under the Trump administration.
Under what guise are we a diplomatic? Like, who are you releasing? Like, to me, if you release a person who committed, heinous crimes worse than the people that are getting released, you lost. That's an L. That's not diplomacy. That's not showing a superpower. That's an L at the end of the day.
Say that again.
If the United States go into negotiations with Russia to get Brittney for weed and this other person for, you say, even less charge than that, but we're releasing a highly ruthless,
like a murderous Russian. Yeah,
that's an L. Okay, so they're negotiating for a heinous, ruthless criminal, and all we getting back is somebody who broke the law by smoking weed and something even less than that. That's to me that's weakness. That's not a sign of power.
I mean, the only other
power.
thing that we can do is U.S. Open's coming around here soon. Just grab one of them Russian tennis players and throw them in jail, and then it can be a
boom. There we go.
one.
Problem solved.
I got you.
Yeah.
There
Put me
we
in the
go.
White House.
Just grab one of the Russians. Yes, that's a good bitch. That's I know. I wish I had some
diplomacy.
That's a good ass idea.
That's
Just say he or she broke a random ass law and put him in jail.
Period.
There you go.
There you go.
Perfect.
We won.
We won. All right, well, thank you, Good Journey,
You're welcome.
for being here. Obviously, we're gonna wrap episode 1 of season 3, but we're so happy to be back. Like I said at the beginning of the episode, we have a full season prepared for you guys with guest hosts and a variety of different topics that we're looking forward to. So with that, I am going to sign off.